aweze kutueleza sisi. Lakini nimeona ya kwamba hakuna mawasiliano na akaendelea kuenda katika ile nambari ya 4 ambao sio mawasiliano. Ningetaka kujua Bwana Spika, yale mawasiliano ambayo tulikuwa tumefanya kwako Bwana Spika, na ukaahidi ya kwamba hivi leo utayaleta mbele ya bunge, na hivi sasa umeenda katika kipengele cha 4 umekosa kuileta hapa yale mawasiliano ambayo kwa upande wa walio wachache hivi sasa wanakosa uongozi wao. Hakuna whip wala deputy, na ilikuwa wewe uweze kuwasiliana ili tuweze kujua uongozi upo, ili tuweze kuendelea na katiba za bunge la Senate. Hivi sasa ni jambo la kusikitisha ya kwamba umepita ratiba hiyo ya 3 ya communication, umeingia katika. Tunataka kama kuna uamuzi wowote ambao uliufanya, na haifai kuwa na uamuzi, unatakikana kuleta communication kwa nyumba. Lakini sasa mimi ninaona kuna kizungu mkuti kinaendelea ambacho ni kwa nini tunataka kujua wewe hutaki kutuambia sisi ni jawabu gani ambalo unaweza kucommunicate kwetu na kwamba wewe hujaleta hiyo ratiba hapa ndani. Ni kizungu mkuti gani kinaendelea hapa ndani ya bunge la Senate ya kwamba unanyima walio wachache kuwa na viongozi wao wanaowahitaji ndani ya vile viti? Asante Bwana Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I can see there are requests and interventions. So I don't know, Olekina Redama, Senator Wanalok.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I rise to really inquire from the chair's office, on the chair's desk, on the communication that the chair promised to deliver in terms of the leadership of the side of the minority. Mr. Speaker, we know from history that what goes around comes around. Well, I'm a bit perplexed that the chair has decided to draft new standing orders. Mr. Speaker, sir, the standing orders are drafted and passed by this House. Yesterday, we conversed on the issue of the communication from the leader of the minority on matters dealing with the leadership of the minority side. Mr. Speaker, we do not want to impute any improper motive on the Speaker, the substantive Speaker of this House. Because, Mr. Speaker, you are a colleague, but today you are sitting in that seat as a Speaker. But we are concerned because the substantive Speaker is now exhibiting characters of a prefect, someone who wants to come and prefect political parties. It shocks us that the substantive Speaker, Mr. Speaker, and we are not discussing the character of the Speaker here.
You are a very renowned, outstanding senator for Narok.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I agree.
Of course, you know the standing orders cannot allow even to discuss, not even the Speaker, the conduct of any Kenyan who is not here to defend himself.
Okay, Mr.
So
Speaker, I'm guided.
Kindly execute
Mr.
your
Speaker,
without referring to
I will not refer to the substantive Speaker in person, but the Speaker's office is an institution. And when we see that the institution is now attempting to investigate on the circumstances that led to the minority side deciding to change their leadership and appointing a new leadership, that in itself leads a lot to be desired. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of reason, This is a house of union. This is a house that is supposed to show high level of discipline. It is a house that has got the best legal minds here. The Secretariat, Mr. Speaker, give advice to us legislators whenever we have any matter to be able to deliberate here. But we are concerned because on our side, we've got no leadership at the moment. We only have the minority leader and his deputy. We do not have a whip. We do not have a deputy whip. The communication, and I'm trying to understand, Mr. Speaker, and sometimes I wonder whether we have different schools that people go to when it comes to reading simple English. Section 23, Standing Order number 23, 6, is self-explanatory, Mr. Speaker. I do not want us to cause any havoc here, but seriously, if a house of union, a house that is supposed to make laws in this country, led by a distinguished speaker, cannot be able to clearly read what is indicated here, Mr. Speaker, and it clearly says, upon a decision being made by the minority party, under the standing order, the decision of the party shall be communicated to the speaker in writing, together with the minutes of the meeting at which decision was made. It does not talk about anything to do with fair administration of justice. It does not talk about anything to do with different conflicts or the speakers now trying to meddling into party affairs. Mr. Speaker, I may want to beseech the chair to desist, because a chair is not a prefect of a political party. A chair sits there, he's blind, he's only there to guide. But there is a tendency now, Mr. Speaker, which is a bit dictatorial, where the chair dictates what can come out of our mouth, what we should say. It is some sort of gagging, Mr. Speaker. If we are going to continue with that trajectory, Mr. Speaker, I dare say that we might as well fold and leave, because democracy has already been sunk into a 6-foot hole. We cannot allow that, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to beseech you. You are one of our colleagues. Can we stick to this? Because I believe that if we do not abide by these standing orders, it will come back to what Senator Orengo was telling us here. You know, that we have to be very careful of our actions as leaders. We have to demonstrate that. Because if this house alone cannot be respected or cannot respect itself, then what exactly are we doing? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to beseech you. I want to beseech you, Mr. Speaker, because of what is happening here, Mr. Speaker. What is happening here? You know, of course, we have, nothing stops us from exercising the Constitution and the standing orders. And these standing orders are very clear. We have other avenues. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to beseech you that before we proceed, because there's no business which is going to proceed here, I can assure you that with all due respect, what we want is... Mr. Speaker. We have agreed from the onset, Mr. Speaker, we have agreed from the onset that I have a lot of respect for you, and I'm not disrespecting you in which way. So would like to know, Mr. Speaker, I am not speaking to the majority leader. Majority leader, I think, have some respect. You need to shut up when other people are talking. This business of talking every time as if you are the only one who has the monopoly of words, Mr. Speaker, it's a little bit ludicrous, and we will not allow. I have respect for the Speaker, and we will not allow this sort of gagging. So, Mr. Speaker, we are elected leaders. When we are in this house, Mr. Speaker, I respect Mr. Speaker.
I want to give the
so,
next
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader, you are on intervention.
See, this is my my problem, Mr. Speaker. The problem that I have, I said yesterday, okay, it can even be last year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you are... Can I be heard, Mr. Speaker?
Proceed and
I want to proceed. Which standing order? Anyway, Mr. Speaker, this is a point that I'm trying to prosecute here. They asked you a very simple question. Why haven't you communicated? To the best of my knowledge, and I don't want to be dragged into the operations of the office of the Speaker, I'm only concerned for time, Mr. Speaker, that it's now 2:53. I thought by now, because we have serious business that you want to prosecute, you should have either given them their communication the way they want it, or informed them the reasons why they have not received the communication. That's the only thing I wanted to say. I have no problem with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
How can I say it? How can I say it when you're heckling?
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Majority Leader. Senator Kajwang Moses.
Mr. Speaker, the substantive point of order is before we leave order number 2, we expect a communication from the chair. We do not expect a ruling because there's nothing to rule on. A ruling comes when there's ambiguity, when there are gray areas. But where the standing order is clear on how the majority or minority side should conduct themselves as far as leadership is concerned,
Senator Kajwang, before you proceed, the minority leader asked me a very simple question. And I'll give him right away.
Mr. Speaker,
so I want you to finish.
This is my point of order. It's not on the minority leader.
Because you are dwelling on what I should give. He asked me a question and I will answer
Mr. Speaker,
right
this
away.
is my point of order. It's not synchronized with the minority leader. We do not, and I do not expect a ruling. Mr. Speaker, if you're going to give a ruling, you will be taking powers that do not belong to you. The role of the Speaker is in the Constitution, is to be an umpire and not a player. Mr. Speaker, you cannot put on the uniform of one side and purport to decide for some side of the game how they should conduct themselves. Mr. Speaker, I'm on a point of order, Senator, with due respect to the chair. Mr. Speaker, this House is a last frontier for free speech. And Mr. Speaker, if the chair is going to gag us, and I have a lot of respect for the chair as an institution, and even for the gentleman sitting on the chair, I've got a lot of respect for that gentleman. This is a last frontier for free speech. We must ensure that there is fidelity to the Constitution and fidelity to the standing orders. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge you not to be dragged to be part of political party or coalition intrigues. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge you to allow the minority to be led by those they want and the majority to be led by those that they want. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say this on the floor of the House, that there is no senator who's more special than the other. All of us can serve. All of us can lead. Mr. Speaker, when we communicated changes on the leadership of the minority side, we were saying that we need someone else to be our whip and somebody else to sit on the bench. And Mr. Speaker, I've personally been very conflicted in the decision that we have taken. In this House, the senior-most member in this House, in terms of longevity, is Senator Stewart Madzayo, followed by Senator Fatuma Dulo, followed by Senator Moses Kajwang, followed by Senator Aaron Cheriot. If leadership was conferred on the basis of experience in this House, I would not vote against Senator Fatuma Dulo to stop being our whip. But sometimes there are factors that come into play, issues of political party management, allow us, Mr. Speaker, to have the leadership that we want and do not be compelled by anybody in leadership of this House to influence your thinking. And Mr. Speaker, finally, and I want to, my friend Aaron, he's smiling, he's a very good friend of mine. And I want to advise him. And the bullfighter today, nowadays, is a bit chilled. Senator Aaron Cheriot, if you are looking for a chihuahua, a toy dog that you can control, go and look for it outside. Do not look for it in the seat of the Speaker. Do not attempt to control the Speaker. Do not attempt to convert the Speaker to a puppet of the majority leader. The speaker is not your chihuahua.
Okay.
The speaker is the umpire of this house.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker, I submit.
Senator Kajwang, let me rest assured, the chair, the member of this chair can never be a chihuahua. Yeah? And rest assured, because I want to give one more member maybe from this side so that you can make progress. Senator Boni Karwale, now you are making me a chihuahua. Senator Mohamed Faki. Leave me alone to make my decisions. Yeah? And if I can be one, not a chihuahua, but maybe a German shepherd, not a chihuahua. My son has a chihuahua, I cannot be a chihuahua. He is a majority whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the attempts by the Senator of Mutembei to invite me and maybe the chair in the bad manners of name calling, we will not rise to it. Mr. Speaker, this point of order raised by Senator Madayo is very important. If we are true to the standing orders of this House. Proceeding on standing order number 23, Senator Madayo is... Ma? Thank you. Mr. Speaker, the distinguished senator from Kilifi is perfectly in order. But Mr. Speaker, as we support him, because I don't think it would ever be imaginable that anybody other than the leadership on the side of the minority can decide who leads that side in this House. Just as much as, Mr. Speaker, I don't expect anybody else other than ourselves to decide who leads us on our side. This is the Senate of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the opportunity to have orderly business in this House is vested in the chair through the Senate Business Committee Standing Order number 190. And members of Parliament, members of this Senate, let's be very faithful to our standing orders. It is vested in that order. And in that order, Mr. Speaker, the composition of that committee from which you draw your power to control business here is defined. And one of the members of that committee is the leader of the minority. And that leader or minority, as of now, is Senator Madayo. And is aware that you can only proceed according to these standing orders after understanding order number 190. The Senate Business Committee has made a decision, Mr. Speaker, that the order paper will be in the form that it is. Senator Madayo, with maximum respect to you, you are being disorderly for this reason. That you are not telling your colleagues on the minority side, Mr. Speaker, that you and I and the leader of the majority and others, we sat in the business committee of this House and made a decision on this matter. We did. I beg you to listen to me even if I'm wrong. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, we sat, and if you don't know, I'm now informing you. We sat yesterday, and the leader of the majority was invited. If there was any change to the membership of the House committees, he had communicated. The same yesterday, the leader of the minority had not communicated. So, the order paper, you will object. I thought you are a judge.
Maybe you can give him information.
I'm
Not
giving you
another point of
information.
order. You can give him information.
And this must be on record. Mr. Speaker, sir, in that meeting, which was attended by others, including the leader of the minority, the leader of the majority submitted his changes. He was invited, he was not ready. And he was told, you will not hold the majority, it will proceed.
Senator Boni Karore, do you want to be informed by Senator Redamo Lekina? He has some information for you.
No, because he did not sit in the committee that I'm talking about. I don't know what information he wants to give me. If I conclude, okay, I will allow you. I'm not your enemy.
It's not allowing.
No, I'm not your enemy. I'll allow you to inform me after I finish my point.
Lost, Senator Karwale.
Yes.
The opportunity will be lost. You will have been lost. So if you want to be informed, later we should inform you.
Then I would rather lose it because I'm not running short of information as it is now.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Conclude.
Speaking with the dignity that is bestowed to us by this House, the Speaker then informed Senator Madayo that organize your changes, write to me, and the matter is going to be processed. And what Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you can protect me, I'm about to conclude. Yes.
Because I'm unable to give them an opportunity, because you're also on a point of order.
Yes.
So I'm unable to, I was conventing through a point of information.
Thank you.
But now...
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes. Conclude.
As I sit here now, just like them, I was expecting that the chair would make a communication as to why the Senate Business Committee has not sat to process their list if they have delivered. Mr. Speaker, up to...
Senator Mboni Karwale, I want to give opportunity to the minority
leader. Your honorable members.
Senator Boni,
yes.
Just a minute, please.
Yes,
let me give some direction.
Yes.
Let me give some direction. I was asked a question by the minority leader. I want him to repeat the question as he asked me this afternoon, so that now I answer later away. Then we make progress.
He's misleading the House.
Mr. Speaker, I will be the last person to mislead this House. And I swear that I cannot mislead not only the House, but even the chair. And I want to say it very clearly that that communication I made to the Speaker, I made it even in the presence of everybody in that House, in that committee room, number 4. It does not require voting at all. It does not require...
Majority leader, you know you are my friend. And I've just asked you, repeat your question to the chair. So that other members, even who came late, can be able to now move together with us.
You are not sitting in that SBC. But I think he's gone out of his way to say...
I gave you an opportunity after order number 2 was read.
Yes.
What did you ask
and
the
I
chair?
asked you a question.
Yes, that's the question I want.
Why are you not communicating? That was my question. The changes. Because it is expected that you communicate the changes to about the leadership. We have no leadership on this other side. You have accepted changes on this other side. You are not accepting changes on this side.
So, honorable senators.
Yeah, can you clarify that?
Honorable senators, I have listened to several senators here on the floor, Senator Rendama. You are very articulate about who should communicate. You have severally mentioned the substantive speaker. When this question was asked even yesterday, I was here, sitting here, and the minority leader really canvassed his communication, and he wanted the speaker to make the ruling. From where I sit, or where I stand now, the speaker is not in a position to give the communication right away. Now, what I request honorable senators we do, is to wait for the speaker to come, wherever you'll be here, to come and give the communication. The communication, Senator Sifuna, the communication is with the speaker. Right Honorable Kingi. The substance, and I'm happy that Senator Ndama, you put it very well, that you are waiting for the speaker to come. Therefore, I request honorable members, let us, maybe whatever he is maybe even drafting the communication. So, we go to the next order. Next order.
Order number 3.
Next order.
Messages.
Next order.
Order number 3. Messages.
Next order. Senator Chalgei. Senator Chalgei. Senator Chalgei, have your seat. Minority Leader, sit down. Resume your seat. Resume your seat. Resume your seat then. Resume your seat. Resume your seats. Resume your seats, members. I want to give enough time. I will listen to everybody in this house today. Because when you come to the speaker with your constitution, Senator Sifuna, how do you expect me to give you an opportunity to speak in front of my eyes? If you have an issue that you want to communicate to the table, you sit down, you press, and then you are given an opportunity. Yes. We must have order in this house. We must have order. Senator Sifuna, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, first of all, none of us here on the minority side, let me go to the box.
Senator Okech. Senator Okech, please.
Mr. Speaker, none of us on the minority side mean to disrespect the chair or anybody occupying that chair at any particular time. Mr. Speaker, we are getting increasingly frustrated because this is not why we were elected to come to the Senate. We have serious business to be able to transact. We don't understand how a simple matter, such as a communication from the chair, requires all this drama. Mr. Speaker, our point of departure with the chair is under Article 107 when you read it, Mr. Speaker. It says that in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker presides. That is exactly or precisely why we have members of the Speaker's panel. It doesn't have to be the substantive Speaker for any business of the House to be transacted. There are even members here who are not even Deputy Speakers, but are members of a panel of Speakers, and they come and transact business there. The question I'm asking myself, Chair, is if indeed you are saying that in your capacity as the Deputy Speaker, having sat on that chair, you cannot undertake a simple task like reading a communication, how then would you transact bills and motions, which are far more serious matters that have to wait for the substantive chair? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this here. Nobody is going to scare us. This is our house. I was elected here and in both houses of parliament in this Republic of Kenya. Nobody, none of you, got as many votes as Sifuna. You are not going to threaten me. You have nothing on me. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear that it does not matter which shenanigans are employed. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter what we have to do. We are saying we are going to change our leadership because it is our right. Mr. Speaker, we want all we want, whether the communication that comes from the Speaker's office is legal, is right or wrong. We don't care. We want it to come out of the Speaker's office so that we can take other avenues in order to enforce our rights as a minority side. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, no, you will not gag me, Cheriot. You did not even get half the votes I have.
Senator.
So just be quiet. Be quiet when I'm here.
Senator
Hautanitisha. These are numbers.
Senator
Numbers don't lie.
You
Mr.
must
Chair,
be
protect
orderly.
me.
You must
protect
be
me.
You must
protect
be
me. You have to protect me.
You just
You have
make
to
your
protect
contributions
me.
facing the
Mr.
Speaker.
Chair, I want to say this lastly. Without any fear of contradiction. Because we are proceeding under the standing orders. Under standing order number 23.5. In fact, this communication from the chair, in my view, is superfluous. Because what it says is that the removal of a senator from the office under paragraph 3 shall not take effect until a senator is elected in the manner provided under paragraph 1. A senator has been elected to replace the outgoing whip. A senator has been elected to take the space of a deputy minority whip. From here, we are proceeding to enforce this because we do not need your communication from you so that we can be able to enforce.
Thank you. No, just a minute. Just a minute. Let me also give some more guidance. When the Speaker leaves his desk to preside over the House, we don't carry any documents from the office. Everything is in these files. So when we go to order number 2, there was no communication to be delivered by the chair. If there was any, I could have done so, and so proudly. But when I was in this chair, there was no communication by the time we were in order number 2. If this communication will be brought to me when I'm here, or any other speaker who will be on this chair, then he or she must communicate. But as I sit here, as I study here, there is no communication on this file. Therefore, if there's communication will land on my desk here now, I will do the communication. Yes. So, what I want us to understand is that I'm not unable to read the communication. It is only that the communication is not here with me. Yeah? So if there's communication, I wish that communication could be brought now. And then, yeah. So if the communication is not here, then a minority, you know where you press your request, which office. That is where you should walk and get the communication. But as I speak, this is the file. This is the file which has no communication. So when I sit, I communicate? Yeah, so I want us to make some progress. But any time that communication is brought here, I'll relay the communication. But then if you ask me where the communication is, I cannot be able to tell you. Yes. What is it, Senator Ndama?
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the direction that you've given. You brought some sanity. My only fear, Mr. Speaker, is that your directive is now purporting to mean that the Secretariat has not done their work. Mr. Speaker, it is something very dangerous, and I would like to persuade you, because of your own words, to allow us to adjourn this House for 5 minutes. We shall bring the communication to your desk. You make the communication, because, Mr. Speaker, we should all...
Now you are directing me, Senator Ndama,
I'm requesting.
on
I'm
what
not
I
electing.
should do,
Mr. Speaker,
which I think I will not
Mr.
follow.
Speaker,
I will not follow that part.
Fair enough, Mr. Speaker. Let me complete my sentence here. Mr. Speaker, you have done something very good, and I want to thank you for that. Colleagues, you've done something very good, and I want to thank you for that. You have told us here that any time that communication comes to your desk, you shall read the communication. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for that. Give us 3 minutes, it will land in your desk.
You have all the time. You have all the time. 3 minutes are too few. Senator Chaligay, 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for, when I raise, as much as I agree in the reading of Article 107, it says either Speaker or Deputy Speaker or any member, including Speaker's panel, may preside. But the Constitution does not say may preside in favor of the minority side. That is where we debate. Mr. Speaker, I have been listening to you. Under Article 3 of the Constitution, every person, including you, should protect the Constitution. Yes. It means if the issue that minority side was raising did not meet or violated Article 47 on fair administrative action, Mr. Speaker, you cannot just be a conveyor belt. The law does not see, when you read, Mr. Speaker, Article Section 23, standing order number 23, it does not mean that the Speaker is the conveyor belt. So what the minority side, Mr. Speaker, is inviting you to do is to become a conveyor belt, Mr. Speaker. When you read, Mr. Speaker, standing order 45, please, can you listen to me? I was listening to you, Mwami. No, you should behave, Bwana. You should behave. Standing order number 45, Mr. Speaker. Standing order, Mr. Speaker, can you protect me?
Are you okay? Proceed. You are doing
Standing
so well.
order 45, Mr. Speaker. And I request that at least you listen. Mr. Speaker, standing order number 45.
Senator Sifuna, please.
Mr. Speaker,
No,
you need to protect.
Senator Sifuna, please.
Please, Mr.
Let us have
Sifuna.
order in this house.
Mr. Speaker,
Senator Anduro,
I'm on the floor.
Senator Anduro.
No. No, kindly. No. No. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Roba. Senator
Mr.
Roba.
Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. All of us, Mr. Speaker, are colleagues, and we must behave in a respectful manner towards each other. Regardless, Mr. Speaker. And then, Mr. Speaker, understanding order 45. Mr. Speaker, no, Senator Eddy, you don't need to shout. We are not in a public rally.
Senator Chaligay,
Mr.
please.
Speaker, can I conclude?
Stop engaging other members.
Okay, but you need to protect me.
Prosecution.
You know I'm not expert in demonstrations and mandamanos. Standing order 45, standing order number 45, sub-article 2. The business shall be disposed in the sequence in which appears in the order paper or in such other manner, other sequence as the Speaker may. So you cannot tell us to respect Article 107.
That standing order. That is why I said any time.
Yes,
that
way,
we get
Mr.
the
Speaker.
communication.
Can I get to the meat?
Yes.
Can I get to the meat, Mr. Speaker? Can I get to the meat? Article 107 invites you to preside the House. But standing order 45, standing order sub-article 2, it says the business shall be disposed of in the sequence in which appears in the order paper or in such other sequence as the Speaker may, for the convenience of the Senate direct. The Speaker has said he can rearrange. Senator Sifuna, you might be new, Mr. Speaker. We have always rearranged the order paper. This is not the first time, and tradition.
Senator Chalia, you have been on. Thank you
as I conclude, Mr. Speaker.
No, conclude.
As I conclude,
you have concluded.
We have reorganized order paper before. Mr. Speaker, don't be invited to the circus that I'm seeing here.
Your point is very clear, Senator Chalgay. Yes, Majority Rinda.
Mr. Speaker, I'm increasingly getting concerned, and I want to invite you to standing order number 121 on disorderly conduct. And I'll read it so that it is clear, because I'm seeing a scheme here, Mr. Speaker, that the minority side does not want us to process any business today. And they are setting a very bad precedent. They are setting a precedent that in future, Mr. Speaker, if for whatever reason the majority side decides on a particular matter and your office either disagrees, delays, or for whatever reason is not able to do it in the manner and the speed that the majority side wants, that we become chaotic, we become disorderly, we forget that this is a house of order, this is a house of rules, and begin to engage in a shouting match. I don't think that is a precedent that we want to set in this house. I have been where the minority side are today. We used to be 7 senators only on this side during the famous days of the handshake. But there is no day that I created chaos in this house. I will sit down, wait for my turn, make my point, whether I win or I lose. We used to lose every vote every day. But there is no day I became disorderly, Mr. Speaker, because I respect this house. I want to urge you, Mr. Speaker, and you know, Senator Sifuna, teach him some manners. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that every time, it cannot be...
No point of order. Nothing is out of order.
It cannot be, Mr. Speaker, that every time when other leaders are speaking, you want to be the one that you're shouting. You are shouting at the Speaker, you are shouting at the colleagues. For heaven's sake, you're only 3 months old in this house. Keep your calm, learn, be a good disciplined student. There is nothing to be excited. There is nothing to be excited about being elected. For your information, I have been elected 3 times, and I didn't have to try 6 times like you before coming to this house.
Majority in the country.
You know,
have your cool also.
You know, Mr. Speaker,
Yeah, so-
Mr. Speaker, it cannot be.
Have your seat. Resume your seat, Senator Sifuna.
Ai. Kwani unatisha nani wewe? Peleka huko, kwenda kabisa.
Senator Majority Leader, I want to
Anyway,
make some
this is
progress.
my point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I have given the direction on
No, Mr.
how,
Speaker,
what we are doing.
I want to, no, I haven't invited you to my point of order. My point of order is standing order number 121, Mr. Speaker. And I want you to read it with me so that it can be understood. A senator is disorderly if, number 1, creates disorder like they are doing. 2, no need to read it. 3, unnecessarily interrupts the proceedings or consults in a disruptive manner. That is what we are witnessing this afternoon, Mr. Speaker. What option do you have? Because we now want to progress. The side that I lead wants to sit down and conduct the business that brought them to this house this afternoon. We are tired, Mr. Speaker, of being engaged in something that is not productive. If there is a dispute between you and them, please find a way of sorting it out. But as for us, we came to transact the business that our constituents elected us to come and do in this house, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I urge you to exercise your powers under standing order number 122, so that senators who are grossly out of order, lead them out.
Definitely, I'm very well versed with these standing orders. But what I want to say, honorable members, senators, honorable senators, but wait. So why are you engaging me, Senator Mazayo? Why? Why are you engaging the chair? You've not been so lenient the whole afternoon. Senator Okech, Senator Sifuna, yeah? I don't want to mention the anti-senator who I have been lenient to. Even I wanted to give an opportunity to the elder of the house to give him some guidance, but you are outpowering him with your voice. So what I want us to do, honorable senators, I've told you any time that I can reorganize the business of the day. I have those powers to do that. But as we speak, I don't have that communication. So allow me to proceed with the business of the day. If there be any other communication that will come, then I will not hesitate to do the communication. Minority, if you bring the letter that you gave the speaker, how can I prosecute the letter from my seat? Sorry? It is not possible to do that. If you have a new letter, process it the way it should be processed. I cannot process it from where I sit. Of course, you know that. Yeah? So, cracks, I want us to make progress now. Next order, please. Next order. I have been very good ruling on this matter. Next
Order number 3, messages.
Honorable Senators, I have a petition from the Speaker of Nyandarua County Assembly. Honorable Senators, after I finish with this message, after I clear with this message, then I will have your point of order. Allow me to read this message. Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that I have passed on to standing on. I have given direction on this matter. I have given direction. Have your seat, please, Senators. If you don't want to have your seat, then you can do the honorable thing that you wish you can do, because now we cannot transact business that way. I have said I will give you Mazayo after I'm through the message. Senators, can you resume your seats? We make progress. Minority in the out of order. You out of order. You out of order, Miss. You have no respect for the chair, and we cannot transact business that way. Yes, no, we can't do that. Is it your business to order the chair what to do? Senator Mazayo, do you order the chair? You are engaging me. Are you engaging me? Senator Mazayo, you're out of order. And I'm telling you, I'll throw you out of this chamber. I'll throw you out. For you, Senator Mazayo. But you can't direct the chair on what to do. No, because you can't direct me on what to do. I've given you more than 3 points of order. Senator Mazayo. Senator Mazayo, why are you making this house in disorder? You are Linda. You are Linda in this house. Senator Okech, now my coup is running out of you. Senator Okech, can you sit down? Can you have your seat? Senator Redam Orekina, can you have your seat? Senator Sifuna, can you have your seat? Senator Ososi, can you resume your seat? Can you resume your seat, Senator Redam Orekina? Minority Leader, I'm giving you the last point of order on this matter. The last and the last. On behalf of the whole team in the minority side, I'm giving you that opportunity. Proceed. Proceed. Minority Leader, proceed. Minority Leader, proceed. What is your point of order? Not to know. What is your point of order? You have been raising a point of order when I was reading the message. What is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, you and me have been in this parliament. You have been in the National Assembly. I have been in this house, the Senate House. Mr. Speaker, what is being demonstrated here is a creation of the leadership of the House. And I don't know why, as a chair, you don't want to unlock it. You have stated it very clearly that if I get whatever you wrote, or if I get it even right now, the minutes and everything.
What? Sorry? The communication from the Speaker. Is that the communication you have?
No, not the communication from the Speaker.
So what did I
I'm saying you stated it very clearly that if I get the notice.
No, I said I want communication.
I have the notice.
The normal way, communication to lead.
There is a Hansard. There is a notice here, which I've given. There is a letter forwarding all this. There are minutes and the signatures of the senators who have signed.
I think this is the letter you give the Speaker, to the Speaker's office. That is the communication I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that communication.
Mr. Speaker, can you allow me
Can you table the communication to the table the communication?
Mr. Speaker,
table your communication, then I will read it.
Can you allow me to talk? You know, the issue here is you are so inclined on one side and not looking on the other side. You are supposed to be blind on that chair. And I beseech you, don't destroy the Senate. We have our standing orders which normally we are guided on. Since I came here in 2013, we have been guided by standing orders. For the first time, I'm seeing this Senate discarding and killing and raping the standing orders. It is not fair. So all I'm saying is, I will hand over this letter here in the presence of all and sundry.
You table. Okay, thank you. Let me read the message now, if received. This is the letter to late Honorable Amason Kingi, EGHMP Speaker of the Senate, discharge of a senator from leadership office. This is the letter the Speaker is working on. And this is the communication I'm waiting. A reply to this letter is what I'm waiting for, and that is what the minority leader was asking last night. Now you want me to reply? You want me to reply? Honorable Senators, let us make some progress now. Let us make some progress. The minority leader, you very well know what you are frogging. And you know where your communication is. Yes. So, where is the communication? Where is it? It's letter. Have you seat. Resume your seat. Resume your seat. Resume your seat.
Just communicate. 23-6. 23-6. 23 Speaker.
Minority leader, please don't approach the chair again. Go back to your seat. Don't approach the chair again. Don't approach the chair again. You and Honorable Rima, please resume your seats. Resume your seats. I want us to proceed. You know I'm being very lenient to honorable members, and I've called you severally. I want us to proceed with the business of today's business. And I proceed to read the message. This is a petition by the Speaker of Nyandarua County Assembly. Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that I have pursuant to Standing Order 48.4 and 6 received a message from the Speaker of Nyandarua County Assembly. The message dated Wednesday, 7th December 2022 and communicated by way of a petition and as the Speaker of the Senate. The message which communicates as a solution of the County Assembly on a motion petitions the Senate to, among others, ensure exploitation of water under the Sasumua and Kanoike Dam is reviewed, and agreements amongst the respective water services providers that own the two dams, the national government and the Nyandarua County government, and drafted and allotted by the President, and also ensure equitable share for the service. You know when I'm on the floor, you know the rules of this house. You know the rules of this house. Ramakina, you are grossly out of order. And according to you, standing on the 121, Senator Renda Morekina. A senator is disorderly if the senator creates disorder. And now, because revoking standing on the 121, I request Senator Orekina to leave this house until the next sitting. Senator Orekina, I have sent you exhibiting gross misconduct, and please, the sergeant at arms, remove Senator Orekina until the next sitting of this house. And I will continue to finish. Ensure allocation of funds by the national government for the construction of dams in Nyandarua County, for the distribution and use by the residents of the county for domestic and commercial use, especially irrigation, which is a major source of revenue.
You are destroying the house. You are destroying the Senate.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to standing on the 87-7, which says that when a message from a county assembly, Minority Leader, you are next.
You have standing orders to guide you.
Minority Leader, you are next.
You are guiding the standing order. Keep the standing order. Number 23, just communicate. Just communicate.
Minority Leader, standing on the 121, also is faulting you new. Minority Leader, you are very disorderly and also request you to leave the premise. Minority Leader. Minority Leader, Senator Orekina, both of you to leave the chamber until tomorrow. The two members should leave. The two members should leave the house. We cannot proceed before you leave. Senator Rendama and Minority Leader. Whoever is withdrawing, please do it silently so that we can transact business. Okay. So, Honorable Senators, I've read this message from Nyandarua County Assembly, and I want to conclude to read you the prayers. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 48.7, which states that when a message from a county assembly is reported, the message shall be deemed to have been laid before the Senate, and the Speaker may direct the message be dealt with forthwith, B, appoint a day for consideration of the message, or C, refer the message to the relevant committee of the Senate for consideration. So, Honorable Senators, in this regard, I refer the matter to the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources for appropriate action. There is another message. If you have any comment, maybe I'll give you 5 minutes after this other message. This message is approval of appointment of a member of the Parliamentary Service Commission under Article 127(2)(d) of the Constitution. Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46(3) and 4, I have received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the approval of the National Assembly of appointment of a member of the Parliamentary Service Commission under Article 127(2)(d) of the Constitution. Pursuant to the said standing orders, I now report the message. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41(1) of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. In accordance with the provisions of Article 127(2)(d) of the Constitution, by a resolution passed on Wednesday, 15 February 2023, the National Assembly approved the appointment of the Honorable Johnson Muthama as a member of the Parliamentary Service Commission. Now, therefore, in accordance with the same provisions of the standing orders, I hereby convey the aforementioned resolution of the National Assembly and invite the Senate to also consider and approve the appointment of the male member of the Parliamentary Service Commission. I thank you. Honorable Senators, as you may be aware, the Senate Majority Leader on Tuesday, 14 February 2023, on behalf of the Vice Chairperson of the Parliamentary Service Commission, tabled the report of the Parliamentary Service Commission on the nomination of Honorable Johnson Muthama for appointment as a non-member of Parliament, Commissioner to the Parliamentary Service Commission. Further, I amend our communication. Senator Sigei, you are out of order. Further, I amend our communication committing the matter to the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights for consideration and directing the committee to, within 14 days from the day the report was tabled, consider the matter and report to the Senate on the suitability of the candidate for appointment to the Parliamentary Service Commission. Honourable members, I urge the committee to move with speed and consider the matter and report back to the Senate. I don't know whether there is any member who has a comment. Senator for Nyandarua? Nyandarua Senator? Medu?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And first and foremost, I would want to congratulate the County Assembly of Nyandarua, the county that I represent in the Senate, for this petition that they have done to the Senate. And I would want to first say that the petition is long overdue. Maybe for the benefit of the members who are present today, Sasumwa Dam is a dam that contributes about 14 or 16% of all the waters that are used in Nairobi, managed by the Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company. And part of the reasons why this petition has come to the Senate, Mr. Speaker, is because the people of Nyandarua and even the people of the area of Jambini, where Sasumwa Dam is, they have always had a cry of always taking care of Sasumwa Dam, and there is nothing that comes to the people of Nyandarua. There are agreements that have been done that every time we ask for water for the people of Nyandarua, we are referred to treaties that were signed long before Kenya got independence. Treaties that were signed by the Britons in 1902 that says that the people of Nyandarua and Jambini are only supposed to take care of water, and they are not supposed to use water from the said dam. Konoike Dam is also in Nyandarua, and it serves to a very big percent the residents of Nakuru County. And while we want to say that we will be our brother's keeper, where we want to say that we shall keep supporting other counties because we have the natural resources from our county, Mr. Speaker, I think it is only fair that even as we share resources that we have, it is not right, Mr. Speaker, to give or ask for food from hungry people. It is not fair, Mr. Speaker, that Nyandarua County continues supplying water to Nairobi County and Nakuru County, while the people of Nyandarua do not have or do not enjoy services, water services from both dams. So, Mr. Speaker, where I agree, and because I chair the committee that you've read the petition too, I would want to implore on my colleagues, once we look at the facts and the figures, because I have been able to look at them as a senator of the area, that they will be able to support the people of Nyandarua so that we can be able to deal with this injustice, a long-term injustice that has been meted on the people. On the second prayer, Mr. Speaker, on exploitation of forest harvest from the Aberdare forest and other public forests in Nyandarua, within the framework, I want to agree, Mr. Speaker, that and comment. In the wrong range, Mr. Speaker, we are planning, myself and the County Assembly of Nyandarua, to plant at least 4 million trees in the Aberdare forest and around the Rikor Borsat. Where, Mr. Speaker, the people of Nyandarua have continuously been taking care of the Aberdare forest. We've been the people who have been planting the trees. We've been people who have been taking care of the trees. When tree harvesting happens, Mr. Speaker, we only see private lorries coming and